I started thinking about what I was going to do after high school, probably before high school, but as I think a lot of people do. But as it kind of neared the time that I was supposed to graduate in 1989, it was unclear as to what was going to get me a few basic things covered, namely getting the hell out of where I was growing up, which was Vista, California, Southern California, San Diego County. Um, and not only getting me out of there, but getting me into a new kind of place, mentally, physically, so forth. Um, I knew that I wanted to learn something interesting that might be applicable to later life. I knew I eventually wanted to go to college, though it was unclear that when I wanted to do that. I didn't think I wanted to go directly into college, though what I ended up doing kind of was the opposite of what I had originally intended as I decided to join the intelligence corps in the United States Army. So that would have been in October of 1989. I entered after having taken a barrage of tests, and they're called batteries in the Army for some strange reason. But my scores were sufficiently high enough that I was able to get a job as an interrogator translator, with the primary language being Farsi or Persian. That was during the first Gulf War, which of course didn't happen until I was about halfway through the Farsi training. But fortunately, I didn't end up having to go over there. I did all of the remaining years that I served in the intelligence corps were in Fort Bragg and in various locations throughout the United States. But it did give me a taste for languages, specifically really rigorously taught languages, and more specifically for interrogation, which is of course just the basic methodology of asking questions. The fact that in interrogation today, or interrogators per se, have received somewhat of a unfavorable media reflection is probably because there are some sinister elements that lurk in that whole psychology. But interrogation in its most basic sense is just the idea of just asking questions and continuing to ask questions until you've either exhausted the subject matter or you've sufficiently, satisfied your curiosity. It was interesting that in the Army, having studied languages and the act of answering or asking questions, it ultimately led, I think, in many ways to my choice of studying philosophy in undergraduate studies, which I studied at University of San Diego. Philosophy being, again, a very kind of logic-based, but just question-oriented, like what is the meaning of reality, epistemology, what is truth, what is real, so forth. And I think that whatever I had in me before I both joined the military and later went to study philosophy in college, I think I had a basic kind of inquisitive nature that I still continue to harbor. And a lot of the things that I'm truly interested in, whether they be related to language, whether they be related to consciousness, are still rooted in that basic desire to know more about what's going on, not only in my own life, but also in the world around me and in the universe.